Hey guys, good to see you. Thanks for joining me. If you can hear me okay, if you don't mind, just type okay in the comments. That way I know you can hear everything. And I've got some notes here, so just ignore me if I'm looking at some things. So what we want to talk about today is how to actually buy your next home without getting all stressed out, without wasting a lot of time. And in order to do that, you're going to have to find the house. You're going to have to get your offer accepted. You're going to have to get through escrow and close. So that's basically the process. So that's what we're going to talk about today, is how to get your offer accepted without wasting time and getting all stressed out in this process, because it can get kind of grueling sometimes. So if you're just joining us, before we get started, I just want to let you know, if you're really serious about buying a home or really serious about selling a home, give us a call. You may want us to help you buy it or sell it, but either way, we're happy to give you some great advice and also point you in the right direction. And you can schedule a call with us just by going to showcasecall.com. And there you can pick a time that works for you and get scheduled to talk with us. And we'll be happy to, like I said, give you some great advice, point you in the right direction, whether you're going to use us to help you buy or sell. So now let's get back to it. What we're talking about is buying your next home and doing it without getting stressed out and without wasting a lot of time. And like I said before, you got to find a house, and then you got to get your offer accepted. And that's what we're talking about right now. When you're out there and you're looking at houses and you're putting offers together, it's possible that you're going to be competing against other buyers. And if you're competing against other buyers, you want to do everything that you can to make your offer as strong as possible. And sometimes people are just thinking, well, to do that, I've got to increase the price. Well, that's one way you can do it. You can increase the price. That's going to make your offer more attractive to the seller. Everybody that's selling a house likes to see a higher offer for the house. That makes sense. But there's other things you can do too. So you might be in this environment where there's 2 or 3 other buyers that you're competing against, and you want to do what you can to make sure that your offer stands out. And in addition to standing out, you want to do everything that you can to build confidence in your offer. Confidence that if your offer is accepted, yes, you will close. You will get to the closing table and get everything done and finalize it, and the seller will sell the house. That's what the seller cares about. They want to get the highest possible price. But they also want to know that when they accept an offer, that buyer is going to follow through. They're going to go all the way to the end and get everything done. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. How to build confidence in your offer with the seller, and then also how to get your offer to stand out. And if you're just joining us, before I forget, I want to mention, if you're serious about buying or selling a home, give us a call. Whether you want us to help you to buy or sell, doesn't matter. We're happy just to give you some great advice and point you in the right direction. And you can go to showcasecall.com, and on there you can pick a time that works for you and just click a few buttons and get scheduled with us. So let's get back to what we were talking about. So I want to give you, I think I got like 4 or 5 different ways that you can sweeten your offer without having to increase the price, because increasing the price might not be an option for you. It might be where you don't want to pay more than a certain amount just simply because the house is only worth that much. Why would you want to pay more for something than it's actually worth? So you might have a cap that you've put on the value of this house. They're asking $750. You feel it's worth $7.25. That may be the max that you're willing to pay. And so you've got to find some other ways to make your offer stand out. And like I said earlier, you also have to build confidence that your offer is going to close. So one thing that you can do, and let me see here. I've got my notes. One thing that you can do is before making your offer, check with the seller. Have your agent, or if you're, whoever you're dealing with, check with the seller and find out when is it that they want to close. Because a lot of times offers tend to be written just as a 30-day close. Maybe the seller would like to have a 45-day close or a 60-day close. Maybe that would help the seller. Or maybe the seller's in a situation where they'd like a 15-day close or a 21-day close. So before writing your offer, reach out to the seller, the seller's agent, and find out what it is that the seller really wants for the length of the escrow, and even with the date of possession. So you can write the contract up so that you take possession right away as soon as you close. You can write the contract so that you're given the seller 3 days to stay in the house. Sometimes the seller might need more time after they close. They might need to close first so that they can get the money from the sale and put it towards their next house. And for whatever reason, they need a little bit of time in between that. And they may need to stay in the house, and that's called a rent back. So before you actually make your offer, reach out, find out what it is that the seller is looking for. And if you can do that, if you can do a longer escrow and that's what they want, then that's going to make your offer stand out. That's going to make your offer more appealing to them. If they're looking for a shorter escrow and you can do a 21-day escrow, and that's better for them, then it's going to make more sense for you to write up your offer as a 21-day escrow. So that's one thing you can do. You can check with the seller and find out when it is that they're looking to close, when it is that they're looking to hand over possession, and then you can work with them, and that's going to make you stand out. A second thing that you can do is you can also be more flexible with your contingency periods. And instead of going with the standard contingency periods, and when I say contingency, I'm talking about your home inspection, your appraisal, your loan approval, not your pre-approval, your actual loan approval. Those things have contingency periods. They're just time periods that you're allowed within the contract in order to complete some things. So one thing that you can do is you can shorten up your contingency periods. Even if you're just shortening them by a couple of days, it still makes a difference. It shows that, you're trying to find some kind of way to make this more beneficial to the seller, to make this so that the seller wants to accept your offer. So that's another thing you can do, is shorten up your contingency periods. And the thing you do have to remember is you better make sure that your vendors, whoever you're working with for your loan, whoever you're working with for your home inspection, they've got to be able to work within those time frames. If you've shortened your loan approval contingency up to like 7 days, is your lender going to be able to get an actual approval within 7 days? So those are things that you have to, talk with your lender and your home inspector about. But if they can go with the shorter periods, it's oftentimes a good idea to shorten that up on your offer, because it's going to make your offer look more appealing to the seller. So that's the second thing that you can do. Another thing that you can do is increase your earnest money. So a lot of times people will go with a certain dollar amount or maybe a certain percentage. If you increase your earnest money, it'll definitely make your offer stand out. If most people are putting down $3,000 and you can put in $5,000 or $7,000, it really doesn't affect you at all, because your money, whatever the amount is, it's protected by your contingencies. Now that's assuming you've got contingencies in place. But whether your earnest money is $3,000 or $5,000 or $7,000 or $20,000 or $50,000, that money is protected by your contingencies. But if you're putting down a larger down payment, or a larger deposit compared to other offers, then that is going to really stand out for you, and it's going to get that seller's attention, and it's going to show that you're very serious about your offer. And so that's another thing that you can do. Of course, your earnest money is just going to get applied to whatever your down payment is with your lender, whatever your closing costs are that are figured in that your lender or the seller is not covering. And so whatever your earnest money is, again, you can raise it to a larger amount to grab attention, but it's not going to put that money at risk. Another thing that you can do, what was it I was just thinking about to get the attention? Another thing that you can do would be with your lender. You can always have your lender reach out to the listing agent and have a conversation. Like I said earlier, part of what the seller is looking for or the listing agent is looking for is that this is going to actually close. That's really, really important. You want to build confidence in your offer. Confidence a lot of times comes from the lender being able to communicate to the listing agent that they've done their due diligence. They've pulled a credit report, but they've also really analyzed your income. They've looked at all your income and asset documents. And if they can issue what's called a desktop underwriter or a DU, or sometimes it's called a DO, a desktop originator, that's a report that the lender runs. And we like to, with our buyers, we like to put together the DU and turn that into the listing agent. That's another thing that will, make your offer, really stand out. And before I forget, before we get too far, before we go into the next point, just a reminder, if you're serious about buying a house, if you're serious about selling a house, just reach out to us, give us a call. The thing is we'll be happy to help you, whether you're working with us or not. We just get on the phone and find out what it is that you're looking to accomplish. We'll give you some great advice and point you in the right direction. And you can just go to showcasecall.com. And while you're on there, you'll see how to schedule with us. So you can just do that. And then the last couple of points, let me find my notes here. We covered putting down a bigger earnest money deposit. Another thing that you can do is to communicate to the listing agent that this is going to be as smooth an escrow as possible. You're not going to make a big fuss over the inspection items. So typically when a person buys a house, they're going to have an inspection done. That inspection may turn up all kinds of things. Even if the house is practically brand new, an inspection is going to turn up items. And so one of the things that a seller is concerned about is once the inspection is completed, is that buyer going to get scared off by the repair items? Or is that buyer going to ask for all of these items to be fixed? And if you're competing for this house, if this house is a very popular house and there were other offers, one of the ways that you can make your offer stand out is to make sure that you're communicating to the other side, or your agent is communicating to the other side. Hey, we're going to be easy to deal with. We're going to get an inspection done, but as long as there's no major problems, there's not major roof problems, there's not foundational problems, there's nothing major that is big health and safety issue, or nothing that's like a foundational issue, nothing that's going to hurt the integrity of the home. If it's just cosmetic, we're not going to worry with it. If you can communicate that to the agent, a lot of times that's going to make your offer stand out as well. So I think we did 5 things. Put down a bigger earnest money deposit. Don't make a fuss over the minor stuff on the inspection report, and shorter contingency periods for your home inspection and your loan approval. And then we started out talking about, and one more thing before I forget. If you also have a house to sell, you're probably going to be making a contingent offer. Now, that offer is like the offer that sellers typically don't want to see. They don't want to see that you're contingent, meaning you've got to sell your house in order to buy their house. The seller doesn't want that. Now you're starting to get too many strings attached. Maybe they're in the same situation. Maybe they've made a contingent offer somewhere. And so now you're starting to get, like 3 properties, 4 properties involved in this transaction, and they all have to fall in place. So sellers usually want to see a non-contingent offer. That means you do not have to sell a house to buy theirs. But you might have to make that offer because maybe you're in a situation where you have to sell your house to buy another house. You need the money to put towards the next house, or you're not able to carry both mortgage payments on your application, your loan application. Or maybe it's just personal preference. Maybe you can buy the other house, you can do that financially, but you just don't want to. So if you're going to be making a contingent offer, you're probably going to be competing against some non-contingent offers or other contingent offers. So what can you do to make your offer, again, stand out? And the second thing, build confidence that you're going to be able to close. And one thing you can do is show that seller your house is already on the market. That shows that you're really serious about getting your house sold and buying their house. Your house is already on the market. So if you go ahead and put your house on the market, you're going to look better to the seller when you make an offer to buy their house. If you've been able to get your house on the market and now you're even under escrow, that's even better, because you're showing, hey, not only am I on the market, but I've already found a buyer. This is going to go, really smooth. So that's another thing. That's the thing that was kind of sticking in my head. I was trying to remember what it was I wanted to tell you, but that's the last thing. And that's, only if you've got to sell a house to buy another house. And, one more time, just a quick reminder, if you're serious about buying or selling a home, give us a call. We'd love to help you make a better decision. We get on the phone with you and go through what your plans are, some of the things that you're looking to get accomplished with the purchase or the sale, and we can give you some great advice and point you in the right direction. And if you ask us to help you with the process, that's great. And if you want to work with somebody else or just do it on your own, that's cool too. We just enjoy the opportunity to talk with you and maybe share some things with you that will help you in this process. And to do that, you can go to showcasecall.com, and there you can choose a time that works for you to talk with us, and just click a few buttons and get scheduled. So just kind of to recap, what we were talking about today is buying your next house without getting all stressed out or wasting a lot of time. One of the big time wasters and stressors when you're buying a house is when you find the house, you put in your offer, and your offer gets rejected. And there's people out there that have had 4 or 5 offers rejected before they ever had an offer accepted. And there's some people that were buying a house or trying to buy a house, and they had their offers rejected, one right after the other, and they finally just gave up, or they said, hey, I'm just going to put this on hold. And so you don't want to be like that. It can get really frustrating. It can get really, just stressful. So what you want to do is you want to have a way or multiple ways that you can sweeten your offer without having to offer a price that you're not willing to pay or you don't feel the house is worth. So, just to recap, those are the things that you can do. And you want to make sure that you're doing everything you can to get your offer accepted. And that's it. So again, if you are serious about buying or selling, give us a call. You can go to showcasecall.com to schedule a time for us to talk. And whether you ask us to help you buy or sell, whatever you do, we'll be happy to give you some great advice and point you in the right direction. And you can do that at showcasecall.com. All right. Thanks. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it for you, and we'll see you next go around. All right. Take care.